Hello everyone. Sharad Institute of Technology Polytechnic Program of Electrical Engineering welcomes all students. So we know that for final year diploma students for academic year 2020-21 there is subject energy conservation and audit, and the subject code is 22525. So today we'll see chapter number 2, energy conservation in electrical machines, and the marks weightage for this particular chapter is 14 marks, and the course outcome for this particular topic is implement energy conservation techniques in machines. Particularly in this chapter we are going to see three-phase induction motor and transformers, that is, one is rotating machine and other is static machine, and both are widely used in industrial and power sector. So this is our lecture number 3, and these are the contents which we are going to deal in this lecture. So before proceeding towards the energy conservation in induction motor, first we know that the basic of induction motor, that is what are the different parts of motors and how it works and where are the losses or how the power flow takes place in three-phase induction motor. So these are the basic things which we are going to see, and then next we will see need for energy conservation in induction motor, why it is necessary to save energy conservation particularly in three-phase induction motor, that we will see. And the next content is energy conservation technique in induction motor, in which we will see first technique by improving power quality. So this is basics of three-phase induction motor, where I have given different parts of three-phase induction motor. So these are stator, next is rotor. These are the two important part of induction motor. Then other parts are also there: fan, shaft, terminal box, lifting eye, end covers, bearings, support or feet. The next frame, case, cover. So these are the other parts of machine, but very important parts are stator and rotor. Again, the rotor is divided in two parts, that is squirrel cage rotor and slip ring motor. According to the application we can use squirrel cage or slip ring induction motor. Here I have taken one image where we can see a few parts in this. So here they have shown stator, the red winding is shown, that is a stator. Here the rotor. So in this diagram squirrel cage rotor is shown. The next is shaft is there. Shaft is there, and the shaft is having two ends, drive end and non-drive end. So drive end is that where we can attach mechanical drive or mechanical machines for work done. And here lifting eye is there, where as the name indicates, lifting eye means it is used whenever we have to keep machine from one place to another place, that is for shifting purpose. The next is terminal box. So terminal box is the windings, stator winding terminals are brought here, and the three-phase supply is given to this stator terminals. So bearings are there here. At one side there are bearings and other side there are bearings. So end covers here not shown. So here we can see one end cover is there, and here second end cover is there. The fan is there, which is used for cooling purpose. No need to give external supply. As the shaft rotates, the fan also starts to rotate. And the frame, here the frame is there. The frame we can call it as a frame, case, cover, protection cover, which protects internal parts of the machine. And the last, support, feet. Now we'll see one by one its important part, stator. So here is the stator diagram I have taken. So stampings are there. When stampings are stacked together, it forms a solid stator core, and in stator core first insulation papers are inserted, and then in that insulation paper stator winding is inserted. So here the laminations or stampings are done of very few thin laminations, and when they are stacked together we'll get the solid stator core. Here slots are there, this one slot, second slot, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So there are 6 slots and the teeth are there. Okay, so in these slots the insulation paper is inserted. So after the insulation paper insertion, the winding is done, stator winding is done. So stator winding is done according to the number of poles, and the number of poles are taken as per the speed requirement. Means if we need speed, as per our requirement the poles are get changed, and according to the poles the stator winding is also gets changed. So now the rotor. The rotor has 2 parts, that is squirrel cage or slip ring. It has 2 types, squirrel cage and slip rings. So first we'll see slip ring induction motor. So there are rotor core, windings, copper rings, brushes and the shaft. So the rotor of slip ring induction motor is similar to stator, but there are 2 points are added, copper rings and brushes. So here the stator core we have seen in previous slide, like that way the rotor core is framed. So there is having slots, and between these slots the insulation paper is inserted and then the winding is done. Normally 3-phase star winding is preferred for the slip ring induction motor, and the winding terminals are brought here and they are connected to the slip rings. So here we can see there are 3 slip rings which are made up of copper. So their circular 3 slip rings or copper rings are provided on the shaft, and there are 3 brushes. Obviously carbon brushes are rest on these slip rings, means they are not fitted or fixed on this slip ring, they are just resting on the 3 slip rings. So there are 3 brushes resting on 3 slip rings, and here we can make external connection, that is we can add external resistors to adjust the torque speed characteristics. So this is one advantages of slip ring induction motor. We can insert in the rotor circuit resistance as per our requirement of speed and torque. So this is one additional advantages of slip ring induction motor. So this is about slip ring induction motor, though the rotor is slip ring type but its stator is normal stator like we have seen previous one. Now we'll see squirrel cage. So squirrel cage, why the name is given as a squirrel cage? We'll see. The rotor bars are there. Then between the rotor bars there will be a insulation, preferably mica insulation is there, and at the both end the rotor bars are short circuited. Here you can see these are the rotor bars. Normally aluminum rotor bars are preferred instead of copper. Why? If we use aluminum, then we know that aluminum is light in weight and it is cheap in cost. Hence mostly aluminum copper bars are used for rotor. So these copper bars is nothing but copper winding, we can say winding. These aluminum bars is also called as a windings, rotor winding. Okay, so between these 2 rotor bars there is insulation, mica insulation is there, and at both the end these bars are totally short circuited and we cannot access any external resistance in this circuit. That is like in slip ring induction motor, here there is a provision of external circuit, but in this case as both ends are short circuited, the rotor is not accessible or the external resistance cannot be added in this type of rotor. So this is disadvantage of squirrel cage induction motor. Hence, we cannot get required torque speed characteristics by the external resistance like in case of slip ring induction motor. So next is working of three-phase induction motor. So again I have taken one image of induction motor where you can see end rings or end of the induction motor. Here terminal box, again stator, rotor, end rings and bearings at the both the side, rotor bars, motor frame, all these things, and fan blades are there for cooling purpose. So we'll see one by one how rotor starts rotating, what are the phenomena occurs inside the induction motor when we switch on the or when we give supply to the induction motor. So first we give supply to the stator winding, not the rotor winding. Like in DC motor we are giving supply to the armature winding also and field winding also. But in three-phase induction motor we are only providing supply to the three-phase stator winding. So what will happen after giving the supply to three-phase stator winding? Then as we know that when current is passed to the magnetic circuit, there is a production of magnetic field. That is, in this case also, there is a production of rotating magnetic field. Rotating magnetic field. So rotating magnetic field has a particular speed which is known as a synchronous speed, that it revolves around a constant speed. Constant speed, or we can call it as a synchronous speed. Means when we give supply to this three-phase stator winding, then there will be a production of rotating magnetic field around the stator winding and in the air gap, that is air gap is provided between stator winding and rotor winding. So the flux are also in the air gap. Now this rotating magnetic field, stator is stationary but the field produced by the stator winding is rotating. This rotating magnetic field is cut by this rotor conductor. This rotating magnetic field is cut by the rotor conductor. Rotor is standstill now. It is not moving. It is standstill. So this rotating magnetic field cuts the stationary rotor bars, and according to the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, an EMF or voltage is induced in the rotor bars or the winding. So there will be induction of voltage in the rotor bars or rotor circuit. And we know that rotor is short circuited at the both end or it is having closed path. Then due to the induction of current, there is a flow of electric current. There is a flow of electric current in the rotor circuit. Okay, so we know that due to the flow of rotor current, there will be a production of magnetic field. Which field? Magnetic field, that is rotor magnetic field is created due to the current. Now there are two fields, stator rotating magnetic field and the rotor magnetic field. So because of the interaction between these two, there will be a production of torque and hence rotor starts to rotate. But what happens? Next we'll see rotor field, this rotor magnetic field try to catch the stator magnetic field and this field will try to oppose the stator magnetic field as per the Lenz law. As per the Lenz law, this rotor magnetic field try to oppose the cause of production, that is this magnetic field. So due to this, there is relative motion between the stator magnetic field and rotor magnetic field. Means rotor magnetic field cannot catch this stator magnetic field. If this happens, then there will be no any torque production and the rotor will be in standstill condition. Hence, because of the relative motion between stator magnetic field and rotor magnetic field, torque is produced and rotor starts to rotating. Rotor starts to rotating. So in this way, our induction motor starts to run when we give supply. So before knowing energy conservation techniques, we must know where are the losses takes place in the induction motor, or in what part or which part the losses are taken. So this is power flow diagram, which is very important. So for power flow diagram, we must know where the power flow is taken step by step in induction motor. So here we are giving supply to the stator winding. So after giving supply, there is a setup of magnetic field, and due to this there will be a magnetic loss, that is core loss. Again, core loss is divided into two parts, hysteresis loss and eddy current loss. And in stator there is a copper winding, hence there will be a copper loss, that is I square R loss is there. After that, this stator magnetic field links with the rotor, we have seen in previous slide, rotor. Due to the linking, there will be induction of voltage or EMF in the rotor circuit, and the rotor is closed circuit, there will be a production of current, and due to the rotor current there will be a copper loss, that is rotor copper loss. Then there will be a magnetic circuits loss or core loss, magnetic or core loss. Then next is mechanical loss. So mechanical loss is friction loss or windage loss. Friction loss is due to the friction, bearing friction, and windage loss is due to the air circulation loss. And at the last we get output at the shaft, that is mechanical output we are getting at the shaft. So this is how the power which is given to the stator flows and comes in the mechanical at the end of motor, that is shaft. Now next, need for energy conservation. Why only three-phase induction motor is considered for energy conservation? Because near about 80% or 85% industry uses three-phase induction motor for getting their work done. Why induction motor is preferred? So here are the advantages. They have good efficiency, near about 75 to 88%. They are self-starting, particularly three-phase induction motors are only self-starting. Require less maintenance in case of squirrel cage because there are no brushes and no slip rings. Construction is simple and robust, and it is cheap. And next, easy to get desired torque speed characteristics by inserting external resistances in rotor circuit, but this is only for the slip ring induction motor. So because of all these advantages, we are preferring induction motor in industry. So it is necessary to look after the energy consumption and energy conservation in induction motor. So this is our main point, how we can save the energy. So first is by improving power quality. So what is power quality? So power quality we can relate with the voltage, frequency and harmonics. So first we'll see voltage. So our Indian electric induction motors are rated for 415 volt and 50 hertz frequency. So what will happen if the supply voltage is less than the rated voltage and supply voltage is more than the rated voltage? We'll see. So when the supply voltage is less than rated, that is below 415 volt, then lower voltage will cause excessive current. How? So we know that power is equal to voltage into current and cosine angle between voltage and current, that is cos phi. So as the voltage decreases than the rated value, then there will be a excessive current. The motor draws excessive current from the line, and hence the line losses increases, machine copper losses increases. As obviously current increases, then the losses will be increases, I square R loss will be more, voltage drop, that is I into R will be more, and due to the increased in current there will be overheating of machine, or sometimes there will be a short circuit or there may be a total burning of motor. So because of this low voltage, particularly because of low voltage, there will be a excessive current. Motor draws excessive current from the supply, and due to the excessive current all these things will happen. Now we'll see what will happen if the voltage is more than the rated voltage. So here, if the voltage is more, then there will be a generation of high fluidity in the motor core. Flux density will be increases, and due to the higher flux density, if flux increases, then there will be higher iron loss, that is higher hysteresis loss and eddy current loss, and due to the increase in losses the efficiency will decrease. In both the cases there will be decrease in efficiency. Losses increases, then definitely there will be a decrease in efficiency. Hence, if we want to motor in safe condition, or if we want to get desired performance of motor, we must maintain its supply voltage at a rated value. So this is how we should maintain our voltage level which is given to the induction motor. Now next is by improving power quality, frequency. So we'll relate with the frequency. What will happen if frequency ups and downs than the rated value? So here, if frequency decreases than the rated value of motor, so our Indian motors are designed for 50 Hz frequency, then what will happen if the frequency decreases beyond its rated value? So the lower value of frequency leads to lower speed. Why? Here I have given the relation, that is synchronous speed is equal to 120F into 120F divided by P. That is 120 is revolution and F stands for frequency and P stands for poles. If frequency decreases, obviously synchronous speed will be decreased, and synchronous speed decreases, then the rotor speed also decreases, and hence we will not get our desired speed for doing useful work because of the lower frequency. So this is about if low frequency is there, then we will not get our desired speed which is required for driving particular application. Now we'll see what will happen if frequency increases than the required value or rated value of induction motor. So here we have seen speed is directly proportional to the frequency. So as frequency increases, what will happen? Synchronous speed will be increased, and synchronous speed increases, then the rotor speed or the actual speed of induction motor also increases. So if the speed increases, then the friction and windage losses also increases, and if the speed increases beyond the certain limit, then there will be a bending of shaft. Bending of shaft may happen. So due to above reasons, the efficiency of induction motor may decreases, and also if frequency increases, then here hysteresis loss also increases because there is a frequency in the equation. If frequency increases, hysteresis loss increases. If frequency increases, eddy current loss increases. So if there is decrease in frequency, we are having a loss. If there is increase in frequency, there is also loss. Hence, it is very necessary to maintain the frequency as the rated value of induction motor. So now we'll see harmonics. It is quite new to you. So by improving power quality, harmonics. So what is harmonics? Here is the answer. It is an multiple of the fundamental frequency of the system. So our fundamental frequency is 50 Hz and harmonic is nothing but multiple. It's multiple of fundamental frequency. How we'll see? So here a waveform I have taken which shows the fundamental frequency wave, third harmonic wave and the distorted wave. So we'll see one by one. So the green color shows the fundamental frequency wave, that is sinusoidal wave, 50 Hz wave, base sine wave. The green one is the base sine wave, that is normal. If third harmonic is present, the supply. So here we'll see third harmonic is present in the supply. What will happen? So here in single green sine wave there are again 3 sine wave because of the presence of third harmonics. How? We'll see. This is first cycle of third harmonic, second cycle of third harmonic, and third cycle of third harmonic. So when third harmonic is present in the supply, then in a single green fundamental sine wave there will be a 3 sine wave. So what is the result of present of third harmonics? We'll get the pink one, distorted sine wave. We are getting distorted sine wave. How? Because fundamental sine wave, that is basic sine wave, and third harmonic sine wave will get added. So how? We'll see. Here there is an increase in sine wave, and there is here third harmonic is decrease in sine wave. So at this particular point there is a slight decrease in the distorted wave, that is the addition of the green one and the red one we are getting here in the pink sine wave. So similarly at this point there is a bending of sine wave which is not pure sine wave because of the presence of harmonics. Now we'll see, here is increase in sine wave, and here also positive increase in sine wave. Hence these are get added and we are getting here pronounced increase in sine wave. So this addition will cause again sudden increase in the sine wave. So at this point there is increase in sine wave, and now there is a decrease in fundamental sine wave, but here there is negative decrease in sine wave. So result is there is a slight decrease in the distorted wave, that is output wave. So this is how we are getting the distorted wave. So if third harmonic is present in the supply, then frequency will increases. How? Here fundamental frequencies are 50 Hz and the multiple third harmonic is present, means third multiple is there. So total frequency we are getting 150 Hz, which is greater. Similarly, if fifth harmonic is present in the supply, then frequency we are getting 50 into fifth harmonic means 5 multiple. So 50 into 5 will get 250 Hz, that is increased frequency. So why harmonics are present in the power? And harmonic is nothing but one kind of pollution in electrical power supply system. So what are the causes of harmonics? Basically non-linear loads are the causes of harmonics. Which are they? Personal computer, that is PC, fluorescent lamps, static converters, variable speed drives or variable frequency drives, welders, transformers, electronic ballast, electronic testing equipments are all the non-linear loads. Because of this the harmonics are generated in the supply. Now impact or effects of harmonics. Obviously there are no good effects of harmonics on motor and all cable system, all the equipments. There is only bad impact of harmonics. So first we have seen in the waveform, that is we are not getting pure sine wave, we are getting disturbed sine wave due to the presence of harmonics, that we have seen in earlier slides. Now next is disturbance in the torque of induction motor. So torque also gets disturbed due to the frequency, and frequency is disturbed due to the presence of harmonics. How increased frequency we have seen? If third harmonic is present, then the frequency will be 150 Hz, which is increased frequency than the rated. So because of increased frequency there will be a change in the torque, and change in the torque will cause speed change. Next, increased speed, due to the frequency increases, speed also increases. We have seen ns is equal to 120 f upon p. So frequency is directly proportional to the speed, hence as frequency increases speed also increases. If speed increases more than the rated, then there will be a production of mechanical vibrations inside the motors, and causes noise, and sometimes there will be total bending of shaft or total what we can say total damage to the induction motor. Increased losses, particularly core losses, we have seen these depends upon the frequency. Increased losses in transformer also. Next, increase of skin effect. Skin effect also increases. Overheating of motors, reduce the efficiency. Obviously losses increases, then the efficiency definitely gets reduced. Reduced life, if such a things happens oftenly, then due to the increase in speed, vibrations, noise level increases, and due to this the life of induction motor will be reduced. Next, more stress will be there on insulation, winding insulation due to the harmonic voltages. So all are the very bad impact of harmonics, and hence we have to reduce harmonics. Obviously we cannot make them totally zero. The research is still going on, but we can reduce up to some extent. How? By using active filters, that is converters, or by using passive filters. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you very much.